Welcome back to The Heat. We're discussing genetically modified foods and the science behind it. Joining us from California is Pamela Ronald, a plant geneticist at the University of California, Davis. You know, people have very strong views over GMO foods, and it arouses such, passions among people. Why does it arouse these passions? And to put it another way, why is it so important?
Well, it's wonderful that people are so interested in plant breeding and plant genetics, and I think not everybody knows that everything we eat has been genetically altered in some manner. So there's many different methods to genetically alter plants, and unless you're catching salmon from the West Coast or hunting for chanterelles, everything we eat 3 times a day has been genetically altered. And so that means that the foods that we eat don't occur in the native ecosystems. And so I think that there's a lot of interest in trying to eat very well and eat nutritious foods, and this idea of kind of a monolithic GMO is frightening to people.
When you say everything we eat is genetically modified, now does that include things like organic foods?
Oh yeah, virtually all organic food has been developed through many different methods of different types of genetic alteration. So the sort of company every year to buy the seed, so that's accepted in certified organic. And organic farmers are allowed to plant seeds that have been developed through mutagenesis with irradiation or different types of mutagens. They're allowed to plant grafts where 2 species are combined together. Many, many different techniques. The only technique that is not allowed is a process called genetic engineering, where 1 to 2 characterized genes are introduced into a plant. And so that's just a historical reason why genetically engineered crops are not allowed in organic farming.
Those who oppose GMO technology tell us that it's unsafe, not just the food, but it's harmful to the environment as well. I mean, does science bear that out?
No, there's no scientific reason that genetically engineered foods or medicines are any more dangerous than any other types of genetic alteration. Anytime you genetically alter a crop, whether you do it through mutagenesis, hybridization, conventional breeding, or genetic engineering, there is some kind of risk of an unintended consequence. But the process of genetic engineering does not pose any unique risks. And this is the conclusion of virtually all scientific societies that have looked at this over the last 30 years.
What about labeling? People want to know where their food comes from, how it's processed, how it's grown, etc. Now, we do have these nutrition labels on food, which tells us, the basic makeup of what the food is in terms of nutrients, etc. Should we be told, this food is genetically well, as you say, all foods are genetically modified, so it would mean that all labels would have to say that as well.
Yeah, the labeling gets very confusing. I mean, certainly consumers want to know what's in their food, and they want to know really if it's grown sustainably in a sustainable manner. Anytime you grow food, there's some destruction to the environment because you have to till the soil and plant the seed and remove native plants. So I think that there is good reason for interest in labels, but I'm hoping we can have something like a certified sustainable label, because the process of developing the seed there's so many different methods to do that is sort of a distraction for really what consumers want to know is how can we reduce the amount of toxic compounds in the environment? Can the farmer make a profit? Can rural communities survive? Can we foster soil fertility and diversity of as many plants and insects in the area? And so these are really the important questions. And a simple label that says GMO will not provide that information because every crop is different. The idea that, so for example, golden rice has been enhanced for nutrition. It's very important to have enough vitamin A in one's diet. There's something like 500,000 children go blind every year because they don't have enough vitamin A. And there's a new rice developed through genetic engineering that can provide that nutrition to these children. And so that's one type of genetic engineering. So it can get very, very complicated if we focus on the seed technology. And all these technologies are considered safe by the scientific community. So really we need a label that assesses the safety and provides information about the safety as well as the sustainability.
Dr. Pamela Ronald, thank you very much for joining us. And that is it for today's show. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the show and any other questions, comments, or story ideas. So email us at theheat@cctv-america.com. The conversation continues on Facebook at CCTV America. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being with us.